When she spoke, her words cut through the stillness of our living room, sharper, somehow, than any argument we'd ever had. I want you to leave me alone. No yelling. No tears. Just a flat, weary tone, as if she'd practiced saying it until it no longer hurt. I stood there waiting for the punchline, for her to laugh, to take it back. But Olivia didn't. She just turned away, eyes locked on her phone, scrolling aimlessly through nothing. For years, I'd been the one holding us together, arranging dinners, starting conversations, reaching for her when the distance between us grew too wide. Every time I tried to bring us closer, it felt like begging for attention from someone who had already left in spirit. That night, I didn't break. I just stopped. I nodded, grabbed my jacket, and walked out without another word. The week that followed felt hollow. The apartment, once alive with laughter and late-night TV, turned into a quiet museum of what used to be. I cooked for one. Slept on my side. Her scent still clung to the sheets. Every morning, I checked my phone, expecting something, a text, a missed call. Nothing ever came. It wasn't that I needed her anymore. I just wanted proof that the years we'd spent together had meant something to her, too. By midweek, I gave up on hoping. I buried myself in work, staying late, pretending to be busy, avoiding the emptiness that waited at home. Then Friday came. I was driving home when my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it. But for some reason, I answered. Ryan. A woman's voice. Not Olivia's. Yeah. Who's this? It's Megan. I work with Olivia. I'm not sure if you remember me. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I remember. Is she okay? There was a pause, one that carried more weight than words. She's fine, Megan said finally. I just thought you should know. She's been coming to work looking exhausted. And today, she cried in the break room. Said she made a mistake. For a moment, I didn't know how to feel. Part of me wanted to pity her. Another part wanted to feel nothing at all. Thanks for telling me, I said quietly, and hung up. That night, I sat on the couch staring at the exact spot where she'd stood a week ago, where she'd told me to leave her alone. And I realized, I finally had. But life doesn't let you settle easily. Just when I began to make peace with her absence, she appeared again. Sunday afternoon. The sound of a car door closing outside. Through the blinds, I saw her white sedan, parked crooked in the driveway. When she came to the door, she looked like someone I barely recognized. Hair unkempt, eyes swollen. She hesitated on the porch, as if she were an actor unsure of her first line. I opened the door before she could knock. She looked up, her voice trembling. Ryan, can we talk? I wanted to say no. To ask her why now, after all this time. But something in her tone softened me. Come in, I said. She stepped inside, glancing around like she was searching for something she'd misplaced. Maybe her old self, maybe us. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then, finally, she said, I didn't mean what I said that night. I folded my arms. Then why did you say it? Her voice cracked. Because I was angry at myself. Not you. I stayed quiet, though I knew it wasn't just anger. There was something deeper beneath her words, and she was about to let it surface. Olivia sat down, hands clasped tight, eyes wet. The silence pressed down like a weight. When she finally spoke, her voice was small, almost defeated. I met someone. No drama. No tears. Just a quiet confession that shattered the fragile calm I'd built. I didn't yell. Didn't even flinch. I just asked, when? She hesitated. A few months ago. It wasn't serious. I thought I needed space. He was just there. That word again, space. The polite way of saying I was already gone. So why are you here now, Olivia? I asked. She stared at the floor, her voice barely above a whisper. Because he doesn't love me. Not really, I said. That's when it hit me. The person who once tried, who reached for me, I had already pushed away. Her voice trembled, but inside I felt nothing but calm. I wanted anger to rise, but instead, there was only clarity. I gave you everything. I murmured. My time, my patience, my loyalty. And you traded it all for attention from someone who never intended to stay. Tears slid down her cheeks. I made a mistake, she whispered. No, I replied, standing. You made a choice. She covered her face and began to cry quietly. I watched her, the woman who had once meant the world to me, and realized I wasn't broken anymore. Just finished. I didn't come here to beg, she said through her hands. I just wanted to tell you before you heard it from someone else. I exhaled slowly. And what am I supposed to do with that, Olivia? Forgive you? Pretend we can start over? She shook her head. No. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. When she stood, her shoulders sagged beneath the weight of regret. For the first time, she looked smaller, not weak, just lost. She turned toward the door, but before she could leave, I called her name. Olivia. She stopped. I did leave you alone, I said. Now you know what that really feels like. Her eyes met mine. No anger, no defense, just quiet understanding. She nodded once and walked out. When the door shut, I didn't cry or fall apart. I just listened to the fading sound of her car and knew the story was over. The days that followed were oddly peaceful, not the peace that comes from getting what you want, but from letting go of what had already slipped away. I started running again, something I hadn't done in years because Olivia hated early mornings. I reached out to friends I'd lost touch with. I stopped waiting for messages that would never come. A week later, I got a text from Megan, a coworker who had called me once before. Just thought you should know, she wrote. Olivia resigned. Said she's leaving town for a while. I stared at the screen for a moment, then replied simply, I hope she finds peace. Because honestly, I already had. That evening, I sat on the porch where we used to drink coffee on slow Sunday mornings. The air was cool, the sky a soft gray. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't waiting for anyone. I thought about her words, leave me alone, and how ironic they turned out to be. Some people don't understand the value of being seen until they disappear from someone's life completely. Olivia wanted distance, and I gave it to her, enough for her to feel the emptiness she'd created. I wasn't angry. I wasn't hurt. I was free. I took a sip of my coffee, looked out into the quiet evening, and smiled. She had said, leave me alone. And I finally did, not out of spite, but because peace doesn't always come when someone returns. Sometimes, it begins the moment they leave.